That should call for some celebration, or will I say breakthrough, talking about taking off university lecturers as well as staff lecturers from colleges of education, polytechnics and other tertiary institutions from the much talked about IPPIS software, the payroll system that is. The federal government says that they will no more be on this platform, but they now have the freedom to pay personnel. These institutions now have the freedom to pay their personnel from their own end and not from the IP system. Of course, the government on its part is saying that this has to do with efficiency of the tertiary institution system, so to speak. Is all about the goal, he says, is all about allowing for the efficient running of public educational institutions nationwide. But he says this move by the government is not connected to the integrity of IPPIS or the University Transparency and Accountability Solution or any other similar systems advocated by various bodies. But like I said, it should come as a sort of breakthrough, especially when you look at our history, Nigeria's history, fractured history with, the lecturers, so to speak, and the incessant strikes that our students, even us, in our own days, so all that we have had to, to bear, and especially in recent times, talking about this issue that lecturers have had with IPPIS, that had been the bane of many industrial actions, Ibrahim.
Well, we'll say that yesterday I actually belong to one of the platforms where we have university lecturers, professors, where they talked about, they expressed their own mindset regarding their own reactions rather to this news. Some liked it, some didn't like it. Some said, well, we are going back to the days of fractional payments and all of that. But, the integrated payments and personal information system has been able to mitigate, we have to just talk about that, the fact that it has been able to mitigate problems associated with salary payments of public servants, meant to tackle corruption and block leakages. But, the feat came with some pains or burdens to both public servants and IPPIS implementers. Why did ASU resist in the first place? They said that it's an infringement on universities' right to autonomy and unlawful due to its nature and peculiarities. So they said it also violates the 2009 agreement, which was negotiated, agreed, and signed by ASU and the federal government. The IPPIS also, they said the template is designed to phase out staff who are above 60 years, which contradicts the new policy of professors retiring at age 70 years. They also said that it does not capture the technicalities and peculiarities associated with the flexibility and mobility of academics in the university system. So they said that the template adopts a tax payment system known as P-Tax2, which is inimical to their members on consolidated salary. So they designed their own. They said what they prefer is the one which is known as the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, which is the UTAS, and as an alternative to IPPIS.
But even that has now, it doesn't appear that UTAS will, come instead of IPPIS. The government just says now that universities are now free. They enjoy autonomy in terms of payment of their salaries now. So the UTAS alternative to it doesn't appear that, that will be utilized by the university system.
The reason why the federal government didn't take UTAS, didn't, accept UTAS in the first place, the reason why they preferred IPPIS over UTAS is because of some of the reasons why I mentioned earlier, and that the fact that UTAS, is designed by a Nigerian, it's homegrown. So IPPIS is foreign. So they now said the ASU, the lecturers, the university lecturers said that no, that they can only, it's only what they design that can work for our own climate. It's not something that you imported from other countries. It's not only ASU that kicked against it. Pengason kicked against it and they went on strike in 2020 over the matter. Also, DPR, PEF, NCDMB, they also kicked against it. They said that they didn't want it. But if you look at IPPIS,
they did not want.
They didn't want IPPIS.
Okay, all right. But I think the obvious point, on the issue of UTAS, because now we've seen that the federal government has said, okay, not only university lecturers, but lecturers from polytechnics and, other institutions will no more be under IPPIS now.
Yeah.
So, because unlike the UTAS option now that was being preferred by the lecturers, that was specific to the universities, as against, lecturers in other, institutions of higher learning and all that. So, but then the government has said, we don't want to be drawn into any further controversy as to the integrity of your option or what we insist on using. All right, all of you just go back, to your respective universities now and now go and determine the payment, the option, for you to be paid your salaries. But, the point you made earlier on about even lecturers now wondering, now we're going to be at the mercies of a university or the management of this institution. So now, but then...
The word fractionalized or fractional salary.
But then the government has, so it's now left to you. You guys were the ones, making the issues out of this options now. So you can't be telling us now that, okay, some of us even feel aggrieved.
Because somebody was asking the question on the professorial platform that, okay, when you guys were fighting for this thing,
where were you?
Where were you? ASU was fighting. Now the federal government granted you. Why are you now complaining? You better take it as it is. So, but if you look at it, neither here nor there, the IPPIS itself actually saved about 12 billion naira in its first 3-year pilot phase. The scheme has 359 MDAs and has successfully enrolled over 237,917 members of staff and weeded out 60,450 ghost workers, over the years, since when it was introduced in 2006 and implemented in 2007 up until 2023, which is the based on the research that was carried out by some of the people who looked at the effectiveness of IPPIS. But then they have been advised to decentralize its activities, get more autonomy to operate effectively, and need for remodification and redesigning of the software to accommodate more organizational flexibility and peculiarity. Because if they do not use it, what the federal government has tried to tackle, manual payment of salaries and also adoption of technology, they really have to look at it and ensure that it works well in the Nigerian system.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We expect some more reactions, especially official reactions, from the major stakeholders, that is, from the university system and indeed, from other parts of the higher education system. That's the Polytechnics and other tertiary institutions that are affected or that will be affected by this latest resolve of the federal government. But, long and short is that we hope that this will be the beginning of better things to come
See how it goes.
for the good of our undergraduates. Absolutely.